it. I'm going to start with pencil because it has got people in. I do struggle a little bit with people, and I'm going to try and capture the whole scene roughly. So I'm looking at sort of the horizon and the angles that I'm seeing, and I can see the beach sloping downwards for starters, and it's sort of going from the middle of the page below the page. So I'm going to sort of roughly put that in here, and I'm holding my pencil at the end so I don't get too tight and accurate, because I'm going to go over this and probably go over this in some pen. I've got a sort of boat down in this corner, so I'm just going to sort of do something with the boat, some blocks of shape. And a dog, and this is where you see, and before I just go into detail, I'm just going to go and sort of put the rock in here. I've sort of got a person in here as well, so his head and his body and his legs. He's got a big load of stuff and a trolley here, and then I've got some people, and then what I'm going to do is save this foreground for this dog, because the dog just gave a wonderful pose really. So I'm just going to roughly put in the shape of this dog so I know he's going to be in the foreground. He's got a nice curve here, some legs, so he's going to be my foreground, and he's got this wonderful tail that goes up like this. Get the shape of his head a little bit. I'll end up rubbing most of this out. He's got like a smiley face. I'm looking at the dark top jawline. When I'm doing like sketches, and as I try and get paint on, it's always good to look at the contrast. And he's got his tongue hanging out here, isn't he? So he's almost got a smiling face. And his chest comes down, his leg. So I don't worry about how many pencil marks I put in. I'm only doing it very lightly. I appreciate you at work, so if you want to, if you do want to ask any questions, feel free in the chat. So I'm only doing this very lightly. I find people quite difficult, and you know, putting people in scenes, and a lot of people do, to be honest. Getting better the more you do this, obviously. So this person is sort of appearing, I don't know if that's a child or not really, but they've got a lot of hair and their body there, and then there's a head sticking out the side of her there. So I'm not focusing too much on the detail. And I'm going to bring this back line of the wall here. That should really match up with this angle going down. So I'm just going to sort of change that a little bit. I've got a lot of greenery, so all this is going to be green. And I'm just going to get these people in. I'll just say thank you here, just to make sure the chat is still working. I'm reaching across to my computer with my one hand. I have my arm in a sling at the moment. Hi Leslie, so we have somebody else. So luckily Alicia or Lika has been my guinea pig for setting this up, this stream, and I thank you immensely, Alika, thank you. Sorry, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name properly, so I apologise for that if I'm not. So we're just talking about people a little bit, and how you can get put off by people. I've got something going on here with people getting changed. I don't know what's going on in that corner with this person bending over. I think they're in a towel. There's a head there. And then coming across I've got, and I'm noting the feet of these people in the middle of the scene are right near the top of the dog's head. So it's about trying to get sort of size and perspective if you're, if, and you can just put suggestions of people by doing sort of triangular shapes, arms, legs. But generally people, the angle, let me get my rough let me get my rough notebook here. So hang on, let's find a blank page. So I hope you can see that. So generally when you're doing people, you talk about sevenths, so let's just sort of do this. So generally the head would be 1, and then you'd have whatever size you use for the head, you'd use 3 of those for the body. So 1, 2, 3, about the same. So 1, 2, 3, so that would be 2, 3, 4, and then the same for the legs. So 5, 6, 7. So you generally would have your body and your legs like this, and that will get your sort of proportions right. You can have your arms, some people have long arms that come down to their waist, but approximately these are the type of scales I'm working to. 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the bottom 3 for legs, and the top 3 for torso, and the 1/7 for the head. So whatever. Okay, sorry, I'm just looking. Alitza. Okay, great. So that's what I work to when I always try and think of the sevenths. And of course so the other thing to bear in mind with things like this is I was sat on the beach in a chair, and so my eye line is just a little bit above the dog, and I don't know if you can tell that really from the picture, but basically when I'm sat in my chair, the guy and the 2 people above the dog here, my sort of eye line, which we class as horizon line, is about here, going across the page. And you can sort of tell that because when you look at the boat on the left, and I know it's on an angle and a slope, which doesn't make this very easy to explain, but I can't see inside the bottom part of the boat here, but I can ever so slightly see there's a sort of you can just see the front end where you see a little bit of the front of the boat. It's not the keel, it's the I don't know what it's called actually, I should know, I've done a bit of boating. So it means I'm a little bit higher than that, a little bit lower than that front end, and the boat is a little bit higher than me. So the horizon line is always important when you're doing sketching. Horizon line and perspective are quite important if you want to get your buildings somewhere near accurate. And of course the dog is about just about on the horizon, just slightly below it. I can sort of see the top of the rump here, but they are fairly close on the beach. And then obviously as things get far away, this person here is above my eye line because they're standing up and I'm actually sitting down, and because we've worked out that the horizon line is just above the dog's head, near their knees, that will make a difference if you were doing buildings. Yeah, that's quite useful. It's useful to know, and of course if you were sketching standing up, it would make a difference because your eye line would be different. So if you were sketching a scene in a town, most people would be on your eye line, and so the heads would be on the horizon line, and you, in the distance, their bodies would be smaller. And if they were stood right next to you, obviously their bodies would be bigger. Like this dog obviously appears bigger because it was closer, whereas the people are smaller because they're far away. So that's a sort of general thing. And once you get to a stage where people are just too small, then really you shouldn't get hung up too much about the detail because they are just too small, and you can just sort of give impressions of people rather than actually going into any detail, which I'm going to try and demonstrate. I don't know if I'll demonstrate this very well because I'm still a little bit of a novice at people, I would say. I'm just going to change this angle coming down, so I've sort of got her shorts here, and I've sort of got these people at the right level. The heads are about the same. This head is over here now, so I'm just sort of tweaking that a little bit and changing his body, but the legs are hidden. This is why, and some people like to go straight in with pen, which I do sometimes do. But with this sort of stuff, because I'm not an expert with people really, I do like to get things fairly consistent. I do try and work at, the perspective, and the rocks sort of come down here. I won't do any detail on the rocks. I like actually making it up with the rocks and just doing it freehand. We've got some rocks that go off at this sort of angle up here. So I've sort of got the scene. Oh, I've got a little dog here as well, which he'll be quite small near the boat. So once you've got the scene and the sort of sizing, I've got the big dog here. I've got two dogs that I'm going to just put in here. And again, I'm looking at the eye level of the head of this dog. Obviously go across to the two dogs, and then there's a dog in the distance. So I've got a dog sitting up like in this sort of shape. Again, not worrying about too much detail. And then I've got one, I think he was looking out to his owner swimming. These two, I think they were swimming and they were just getting a little bit bored. This one, he looks very bored, doesn't he? Lying down, he's had enough. And then we've got the shoreline sort of going off like that. Windrush celebration. Oh, okay. Where was that? Yes, I remember now. I tried to sketch people loosely. Yes, that's right. So there's a dog in the background here. I'm just sort of putting a little. So he's quite small, obviously. Let's just get rid of some of that. And so the trouble with pencil is it can get a little bit messy. So I don't know if you can see there in the scene, I've got my boat. my outboard motor on there. Now what I would probably try and do now is get in some pen. Let's just put some outline of these rocks. So the next thing I tend to do is I tend to put pen in if I'm doing it this way, where I've got sort of anything tricky like that scene yesterday. I purposely chose that because it was a complicated scene and I wanted to force myself to simplify it. I'm just going to get the outline of this dog. I've got too many marks here on the dog, so I'm just rubbing out some, because when I go with a pen, I want the shape of the dog to actually look like a dog. It's got a lovely arch back like this. So his back leg comes right and goes forward. There, that's about. I'm happy with that. And I've got his nose quite good at the right angle. I've got his smiling mouth. He's got a tongue. Yeah. Okay. So he's a bit of the star of the show, really. The people are a little bit more insignificant. Have we got anyone else here? Does anyone else want to say hello in the messages? Oh, I know why there's 3, because the other one is me watching. That's why. That's how I'm seeing the chat. So, who else have we got? Alicia and Leslie. Hi, Leslie. Okay, let me get my picture back up. Okay, so at this point, I'll probably do a little bit of pen, and this pad is let me just show you this pad. I don't often use this one, but because I was trying other things. So this is just a sketch pad by Faber-Castell. I picked it up very cheaply. Paper's 160 gram. It takes a little bit of water. I don't really use it, but really I wanted to just try this live sketching and try out this software. Right, so I often use these Sakura Sigma. I will often use the very small, but I might. Shall I use this? I have this Lamy Safari. This has got. Let's just make sure the ink is flowing. This has got platinum carbon black. Yeah, it is. You often hear how these things get blocked up, but actually this has never given me any problems. This ink, and it's actually flowing not too bad at all. So shall I use this just for a change? Why not? Noodler bulletproof, right? Okay. I've heard about Noodler inks. This is the one I'm using. This platinum carbon ink. It's quite expensive. I've got loads left, so I'm not going to buy too many. But sometimes I use a pen. So this is platinum carbon black permanent ink. I've found it hasn't caused any problems with this. I don't use this a lot. I tend to keep, when on the desk, I tend to keep it like this rather than like this, and it hasn't blocked up, which is quite good. I wouldn't recommend that though if you don't use these much, and a lot of fountain pens can block up, but I think if you soak them in warm water they tend to be okay. And if that doesn't work, I have some IPA which is isopropyl alcohol. Let me write that down. So it's IPA, and it's short for isopropyl alcohol. So IPA, but it's also known as rubbing alcohol. Might be known as rubbing alcohol in the States, isopropyl alcohol, IPA, because obviously IPA is also a drink, a beer. So that's always good. If you do get into trouble with your fountain pens, you know, warm water, soak them in warm water and see if you can free up the ink, or get some IPA in it and let it do its stuff, and it'll probably clear out most things. Okay, so yeah, let's try it with this. Now, do I do loose or do I do tight? I do get a little bit bored going a little bit too tight, so I'm just going to do what I normally do. And this is where having the pencil outline is quite useful, because as you can see, you can sort of follow it or not follow it. And gradually I will end up rubbing these lines out. I'm going to bring this up a little bit sharper. What's that hanging on there? I can't quite see. Are they bags? I'm just going to zoom in on my own picture. If I can figure out how to do that. I don't know what they are. It looks like some sort of bag. So yeah, let's put a bag on here, look like this. That will gradually have some dark patches on. Right, back to Doggo. We have this little other leg coming down here, and something going on at the back there, and then we've got hello. Thanks, Alicia. That's nice to hear. Thank you. I mean, I don't really do these to try and teach. I wouldn't see myself as a teacher, although I have been in schools. I'm moving the collar up a little bit, you see, because in the pencil I put it down a little bit. Just moving it up. I don't really do these to teach, but yeah, if people want to learn, then I'm all for that. If they think I've got something to offer, I quite like his tongue, so I'm actually going to do that in red. And his ear, of course, is coming up here. Okay, so I've got my main dog in there, and I'm sort of going to have a bit of a shoreline. Let's get some of these other lines in. Let's get the boat in. I don't know if you've seen, but I've got my arm in a sling. I've had shoulder operation, and I've just got to take it easy for another few weeks. I'm just conscious there's a dog in the foreground of that. Oh right, that's interesting. Well, it's great that you've started. I mean, I'm a big firm believer in just giving things a go. It's if you have only just started. I mean, although I'm a bit old, I'm obviously in my older years, but I didn't really come to draw and sketch until, well, only a few years ago. You used to like it. I did some in school. I mean, we're talking 50 years ago, no, 45 years ago. So I did some in school, but I never really did anything since school. And I'm 59 now, so yeah, haven't really done too much at all. I'm just going to make up the rocks in any sort of way, sort of going up. I sort of come back to the rocks. I do like doing rocks. And we have a sort of line going across here. Got a line here. Let's get some of these people in. So, like I was saying, with these, as they get further away, you can just do a sort of a suggestion. Got a ponytail. Don't know if it's a lady or a man. Can't really tell from this distance. But you don't have to be too accurate. It's very easy to get a little bit precious about how things look. Oh, same age, right? I've got the comments over to the right, so I'm sort of looking at my drawing and glancing at the comments. And hello to others that have joined. Hi Sue. Who else have we got here? Sue, Andrina. I don't know if I'm pronouncing these right. Leslie, Alicia. Oh, we're the same age, right? That's interesting. Yeah, 50. What am I? Yeah, 50. No, I'm actually putting a year on myself. I'm 58. I'm 59 next in a couple of weeks. 59 in a couple of weeks, July. So yeah. So this person here, they've actually got quite a small head because they're actually leaning forward. So I'm not actually going to spend too much time trying to get these accurate. So I don't know what they're doing. They're doing something with some children. But the sort of leg is coming down. I think they've got a leg up or something. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. A lot of people just get changed behind towels and things, and here's this girl's shorts. So it's just really giving a little bit of an idea of what's going on the beach. We've definitely got somebody in a towel here, because this is the whole towel thing going on here. And I think somebody's bending over to help get changed, because that is their butt sticking out. Somebody's head there. Well, it's good that you're new and you're watching. But what I was going to say is actually it's very easy to get hung up on getting things perfect. And you'll hear, if you're on Substack, you'll find there's quite a lot of people that write about that. I've been doing this a few years now, about 2 or 3 years, really concentrating on my art, because of events that happened to me medically. I've slowed down a little bit and decided to step back a bit. Oh, there's somebody's foot just coming out where the dog is. So this person's foot, I've just noticed that in the picture. This man's foot, he's got some sort of hair there. This is all hair, this person. And this man's foot is coming out from below our boy here. So he's got something going on there. Right. Yeah, so yes, simplifying, and I mean I probably haven't simplified this enough, really, in all honesty, because I'm sort of just making this up. I really, the purpose of this really was to try the tech. I was trying to get the tech right, but I thought I might take the opportunity. I don't actually know what any of this stuff is, just some shapes. Take the opportunity to actually draw something, and this picture was something I had. And you see this body, this is like a stand-up pedal board, and it actually cuts through the dog's head, which I've put in the wrong place. So I'm just going to realign my pencil, so this dog here is sort of coming down more here. I lose track of what I was saying. That's quite. I see other people that do lives. That happens to them as well when they're talking. It's so easy because you suddenly concentrate on drawing a shape. Simplifying, yes. So I probably haven't simplified this enough because it wasn't planned. And I was just trying to get more to do with the tech and seeing if I could get the tech working better for me. What's going on? So we've got some greenery here, and the way I do some of the greenery is it's fairly easy. So I've sort of got enough pen marks on there for the moment. I've got some outlines of stuff. I've sort of got this in the right place. Let's put a couple of bags in, made up bags. Sometimes you just have to sort of make things up a little bit. Like the line, the shoreline, I've sort of got slightly in the wrong place. It should really be up here a little bit, but I'm just going to change it ever so slightly. Okay. Oh, Kiki, hi, Kiki LaRue. That's a lovely name, isn't it? So then what I do, having done all that, I would then, because we've got permanent ink, you've got to be careful to make sure your ink's dry, of course. I would get rid of most of these pencil lines. I don't really want them showing through anything. What's the work you're doing? Let's see. Let's just rub all that off. So I'm just rubbing off the so once I've got sort of outlines here of what's going on, I will then get some I'll get some colour on, and you can sort of do as much or as little as you like here, really. You can either stick to what you see colour wise, or you can go completely mad and do something completely different, which I'm not gonna quite do that, but I'm not gonna get too hung up on the colour. Like I say, this was just a bit of a trial run with the tech, so I'm gonna have a combination of these, which are Rosa Gallery. I've been taking this out more a lot lately. It's got some nice colours in here, so I particularly like this. I bought this. This didn't come in the set. This is a turquoise. It's got a lovely greeny blue colour. Let me show you that. And rather than use water brushes, so if I go out I would have some water brushes. I bought these Caran d'Ache ones. I quite like the idea of a pump on the end. You push this down and then you've got a pump here. Quite like that idea. They don't leak in my case. I found some of the cheaper ones leak and wet everything. But I won't use them. I've got some clean water in a jam jar. That's set. Oh right, office work admin. Right, lovely. This is Rosa Gallery. Rosa Gallery. The colours I've slightly changed. I think. I'm not sure if it has this rose Naples. Naples. No, what is it? I can't remember now. Blimey. I always do a swatch. Let me see if I can find my swatch. So this is how the set started, but I've since changed it, so it was that way. That's right. So cadmium yellow, yes. See, it had a Naples yellow which I've taken out, and I've put in this green, which is a typical sap green, and it had Naples rose. So I've got cadmium orange, bright red, carmine, opera rose, and then it's got yellow ochre, burnt sienna, sepia, ultramarine, violet, indigo, and it had a natural black, which I've taken out. I don't really use black watercolour much. If I'm going to do black, I'll probably use the pen. And I've put in this turquoise. So I've sort of changed. I've put 2 extra colours in and taken out Naples yellow and natural black. That's what I've done with this palette. So I think the gallery palette comes with these bigger ones. You wouldn't get the sap green or the turquoise, but these Rosa paints are absolutely lovely. You can see how they swatch. I don't know if is that coming up really nicely. Oh, you got the urban set. Okay, so that'll have slightly different colours in, I'm guessing. I just bought this on a whim, which is like I do this with a lot of my stuff. I don't really plan that much. It's bad because you don't actually need this much to get going. But when I started with lots of colours, and I ended up putting them in this tin. And this is just a made up tin. There was some cheap Cotman stuff. There's that Naples yellow that I've put into here. So that was in the Rosa set. And I like this tin because I can mix it up a little bit. Got a couple of burnt siennas. I do like burnt sienna. But I bought way too many paints, and then found that, you know, it's quite a common thing that people do. They just get too much. So yeah, don't go mad with this stuff. I had some tube. I've got some tube paints. They were sort of kids paints from a set, and some of them I squirt in, like this one was a violet, because I didn't really get it anywhere else. So yeah, but you just do you, really. Whatever. This is for anyone. Whatever people like, just get on and do it. I wouldn't. If you can afford buying good stuff, buy good stuff. If you can't, buy cheap stuff. If you can afford to get lots of different paints, get them. If you can't, you don't need them. You know, get some primary colours and start. You know, anything really just to get started. You don't need fancy sketchbooks, but if you can and you want to, I would never sort of advise people not to do stuff. Just do. You don't need fancy stuff to get going. That's the main message. If you're one of these that enjoys getting stuff, then get stuff. Yeah, life's too short to beat yourself up over some of this stuff. So I'm going to what am I going to do? I'm going to use a brush. Yeah. Oops. So I'm going to use a brush, but because this isn't really a watercolour pad, so I've got these Fumi brushes, cheap, and I love these. Actually, they take in water really well. But then the other thing I'm going to use are some Inktense. Yes, there is a difference, and you tend to find better quality paper gives you better results, better quality pigments, more pigment. But it's you don't have to have the best quality to produce, you know, to enjoy art. So I started buying these individually, which is the Inktense, Derwent Inktense. I don't know how many I've got now, probably about 15 rather than a set. And I do like these, so I do use them as well. And so I can't put too much. As I can't put too much on here, I do want to make this a little bit messy with water. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to hold. Yeah, the Inktense is wonderful, isn't it? I'm just going to hold this up a little bit. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the greens because a lot of the background is green, and I'm going to let it run down a little bit if I can and go into some of these people. And then I'm probably just going to use a burnt sienna, a washed out burnt sienna for a lot of the stuff, and maybe a bright orange and burnt sienna for this dog. But I bought this was one of the first ones I got, this sherbet lemon. It's a fantastic bright yellow, and it's very good. So in the picture you can see over on this side it's very bright, it's catching the light, it's a light coloured or whatever it is. It's some sort of shrub, whereas over here the greenery is traditional trees and they get a bit darker with splashes of light over here. So the good stuff with these Inktense is I found this very bright one. It's very easy to and as long as you don't press too hard you don't get the marks staying on the paper. So it's very good to give this like background, because what I'll do is I'll go over a little bit more with traditional watercolour, and then over here I'm going to put some of this bright sherbet lemon. Is it sherbet lemon? Yeah, sherbet lemon 0100. I'll show you. I'll just liven it up a little bit. Where's my brush? So you can see, look at that. Look how bright it goes. It's lovely, look. It's very, very, very bright. Now this paper won't take a lot, so I'm not going to put a lot on. But what I'll do is I'll just get some sap green from Rosa. What I tend to do is use a little. This was a spray bottle that my wife finished with. It's actually still got the smell in. It was oh, it's all rubbed off, but it was some sort of sleep stuff you spray on your pillow for sleeping at night. And it's obviously, I didn't clean it out really thoroughly, but when I spray this, I can make a sniff of this and it makes a lovely lovely smell as well. So I've got this lovely spritzer for spritzing the paint to make them go all creamy, and it gives you that like sleep smell that you'd spray on your pillow. So this isn't watercolour paper, so I have to be a little bit careful, but what I'm going to do, I'm just going to try something. And oh, that's the rocks, that was in the wrong place, so I should have been over here. I've got my camera in the way. I'll put that green in anyway, and then I'll lift it up a little bit. But yeah, bearing in mind this paper isn't actually and then sometimes what I do is I'll just move that a little bit. It's not watercolour paper this, so I don't know what really is going to happen here, but hey ho, who cares? We don't care, do we? And then I get some of this yellow ochre, because that's quite a nice colour as well. And the paper's probably just going to go a little bit bonkers on me. But you can see, you know, it's just about having a little bit of fun, really. And if that means making a bit of a mess, then I always think it's good to just make a bit of a mess. Well, I didn't know there was a technique, really. Because I'm not using watercolour paper, it's probably not what you've seen. So yeah, let's get some on there. What else have I got going on here? I want a bit more green. But you see, I'm really, what I would normally, if this was proper paper, proper watercolour paper, I'd probably get a bit of a better wash and spend a little bit more time with the getting a light wash on, and want to get some light greys on. So I'm going to get some neutral grey. I've happened to have some nearly mixed in the pan, so I'll just carry on with a bit of. So mixing greys should be fairly obvious to everyone. You have a bit of brown, a bit of blue, and you get grey, different quantities of each, get different shades of it. But let's get some on the rocks here, put a bit of, so I'm splashing a bit in the rock area, and on the rock area over here. This is going to get very dark on this side. When I mean dark, I mean dark in colour and shade, not dark as in anything else. I didn't really know I had any technique. That's a bit dark. But yeah, I just want to get a little bit of colour on while it's wet. Just smooth out some of these edges a little bit. Get some more green. I've sort of got green all the way around here. I've got a little bit of green on here. I sort of get the first layer on really. Got a lot of big dark patch here which will get darker, and a big dark patch over here, so I'll gradually bring in some contrast, but again this watercolour this paper isn't going to help. And then I'm going to try something here with getting some orange in. I don't know what type of dog that is. Oh, splash and yes. Yeah, some people just splash as they go along. In fact, I'm going to get the dog wet first. I'm trying to avoid his tongue because I actually do want that to be pink. So all I've done here is mix some orange with some burnt sienna that I had in the pan. Some cadmium orange. I'm just going to go in and darken it off a little bit with some darker touches. What am I using to darken this? I'm using I think it's sepia, is it? What is it? Yes, I'm using the sepia. So I've mixed a tiny bit of sepia in with the light orange just to give me some shadows under here and on his hind legs here. Where else? Under here, while it's still wet. Obviously we've got a bit of darkness on his nose, a little bit around his eye. Got stuff going on here. I'm not going to try and do fur. That's always a fun thing to try and do. Okay, that'll do for now, because we can go in with another layer. I'm going to get some splatter under here. Don't want to ruin these dogs. So we do have sort of seaweed and muck on the beach. I'm just putting my paper down. This is a very messy, as you can tell, a very messy drawing. It's quite liberating because I don't actually care too much for it. I'm sort of just enjoying the play. Hi Doreen, is anyone else drawing or doing anything? I know Alicia's working. Nobody else is joining in the chat. Doreen, are you drawing, brushing, painting, working, having a cup of coffee? I've had my coffee. Oh, I left some. You can even use coffee on. Have you ever tried that? Watch this. So look, I'm going to get in my coffee cup. This might give a nice brown actually. This might be good for the beach. Oh yeah, look at that. Some coffee. And this isn't watercolour paper, remember. So this would actually work quite well with proper paper. But the paper is so thin, it's more sketching paper because green tea, lovely. Because the purpose of this video was actually more to sort of try out my tech, as I explained to Alicia at the beginning. And I've realised that the chat in the OBS software I was trying to use doesn't work. So that doesn't work. That's a Substack thing. Show me how to pronounce that again. So is it Aliza? Aliza? Ali. So I would normally see when you put that like pizza, pizza, Alitza, Alitza. Is that right? Alitza. Which country are you from? Not that makes any difference to my poor pronunciation. Alitza. Ah, right. Thank you. It's nice to have interaction on the chat. I'm liking it. It's sort of Slovenian, right? Okay. Alitza, Alitza, like pizza. Okay, so I have some indigo that I'm just gonna darken, and I'm gonna try and not use too much water. So I'm sort of looking at the dark parts now. With indigo. Okay, that's Alice. Oh, so it's Slovenia's version of Alice. Right. Thank you for sharing that. So what I'm doing, I'm now just black dog over here. So rather than using black, I'm using sort of indigo, and I'm going to put some indigo in my grey. Get some brown in there. Make a bit of a dark patch for under the boat. Give me some contrast under here. So I have to say to everyone, this isn't watercolour paper, so I'm being a bit naughty because it's actually, as you can tell, it's not holding the water very well, but really this was only meant to be a short video. I wasn't actually going to do much watercolour, but I've changed my mind. Alitza was so enthusiastic. You've got me staying on and doing more, and I really appreciate you joining in earlier and helping me with the tech and feeding back to me. So thank you so much for that. Oops, I just nearly put that in my coffee again. Just going to wash my brush and I went to put it in the coffee. You have to be careful with that. Put that to the side. He does look like he's covered in mud. I think he's been in the. He's been in the sea, up and down the sea on the day. I think he's got a ball in his mouth, but he was very. I can't believe the stamina he had. All the time we were there, he was in and out of the sea, and he did a lot of swimming. Yeah, I'll change him. What I'll end up doing is letting this dry a little bit, and then I might come in with some intensive. I've got some right colours. But what I tend to do, I just I like to get some colour on. just using some bold colours for towels and things that some people are wrapped in. And you can decide, I mean, this, you could leave the people in white. I mean, I haven't been particularly careful with my wash, but you could leave them as white only, and concentrate more on the green. This will get more greening up, and then this area is going to get darkened a lot. I'm going to concentrate on the rocks a little bit. Let's get some blue shirts on, people. Can't beat a bit of ultramarine. Blue shirts, light blue shorts. There's some stuff going on with this. I don't know what that lady's got on, or that girl. But there's definitely some bits going on here that I'm not sure of. There's some pink there, isn't there? I haven't really got pink. Let's see if I can make a pink with some white. So if you put some white into some red, you get pink. I do have some pink in another set. I'm not going to open that. Yeah, so there we go. Is he a golden retriever? I'm not very good with dogs. I don't have one myself, so he probably is. Yeah. I don't know if he's a retriever. He seems a bit more athletic than a retriever. I thought retrievers were a little bit slow sometimes, a bit dopey almost. He seemed very happy with himself anyway, the way he was charging in and out of the sea. Did a lot of swimming. I mean, he had a lot of stamina, this boy. Yeah, so what have we got? We've got some pink. I've got some white over here. In fact, I'll see what I'm going to do. Let's get some more ink tents out. And what have we got? Payne's Grey. This is always a nice one. Sea blue. These can be a little bit. These can be a little bit bright when you wet them. I'll show you. If you've got ink tent yourself, you'll know this. See how they brighten up. Got a little bit on here as well. Don't dismiss the retriever. Okay. It's just, can they actually outrun anything, these golden retrievers? Every golden retriever I've seen has been overfed, and they're very slow. But hey, you know, maybe, oops, that's the wrong one. I wanted Payne's Grey. Maybe the golden retrievers in Slovenia have a better diet. I don't know. What do you think? I tend to see quite a lot of overweight dogs. I don't have a dog myself, so I feel I'm allowed to comment as an observer of dogs. Oh, you're not in Slovenia now then? Where are you in the world now? Are you in the UK, or I'm guessing, what time is it? 11:30. So I'm guessing if you're in America, it's too early. Oh, what am I doing? I'm about to put my ink tents in the water. That's no good, is it? So this is an ink tent. It's Payne's Grey. What I'm doing, I'm just going to use. I'm going to use this to introduce some dark build up some of these rocks. Now with this ink tent, it does liven up. Oh, okay, South London, right. It does liven up a lot, this, so you'll learn as you use it. It can actually darken these spots quite a lot. But gradually, this scene, which came from a sort of a throwaway live stream, it's gradually turning into something. So what I'm doing is focusing on some of these splashes where I've got some dark parts, and then I'm just gonna wow, that's taken 11:30. That's taken a long time to be finally awake. You see a slight bit of water on these, even though this paper isn't very good for this. I'm using very limited water. It would be so much better with proper paper, because it would actually work better. I'm sort of just touching this ever so lightly. And then what have I got? I've got some is it beech or felt? Felt's a bit bright, I think. Let's just try felt. I think felt's a bit bright. Yeah, felt's very luminous. That's probably not the right, but I think this one, the beech. You see, if you press too hard, you end up getting the marks, and this paper you can't really get rid of the marks. So beech. And what you can do with these, you can actually just wet them, flick them. See, this paper's going to give up soon, I think. It's going to start coming off the page. I do tend to use a lot of water. It's only a bit of fun, isn't it? I think if this was a piece of Archer's paper and I was not caring about it like I'm not, I'd be a little bit more precious over the paper. Also, you can use these wet. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is allow this to dry out a little bit, and it's gradually getting to what something like I'm looking at. It's not enough contrast in this at the moment. Not going to really do too many other colours, but what I want to do is darken this a lot to outline this rock. I want to get some more detail on this rock. The paper is shocked, Alyssa. No, hang on, Alyssa. Yeah, the paper it is struggling a little bit, but hey, I'm enjoying myself anyway. And I've realised that there are certain bits of the tech that don't work, which is the whole point of this exercise. But I do have, so what I'll probably do is use these ink tents a little bit more now to try and not use so much water. So I have stuff like tan. I've got a nice orange, this sienna gold. Look at this. I think oh boy, the golden retriever is going to get some of this treatment. But watch this now. This is sienna gold, and this paper is even. Oh, hang on, didn't clean that brush out enough. Damn. Look at that, how that comes out. So sienna gold, that's a lovely one. Yeah, the paper's very shocked. So yeah, I'm just going to plod on with my one arm and probably overwork this a little bit and get some more darks on here with this. I'll tell you another one I've got which I like, and it's not actually an ink tents, but it's so I've got sepia in that as well, but there's a pencil in here somewhere. Where is it? Yes, sketching, Derwent sketching, dark wash 8B. Watch this stuff here. So it looks like a pencil, but actually it gives you another shade of grey. Which is quite useful for things like this, and I'll probably use this on the rocks a little bit. But it takes water as well, as do the graphy tints, of course, which I do have a set of graphy tints from Derwent. And this paper will give up the ghost. These graphy tints, let me just show you these, because these are, I do like these, but they're quite muted. So graphy tint is graphite mixed with some pigment, and I'll find my swatch. Oops. Find my swatch. Where are you? Here we go. So this is the graphy tint swatch. So what I did was I put marks on to see how the marks would show through, and obviously on some colours they show through more, but they're sort of muted, so they're sort of pencils, but they're muted. So what number is it? I might make this better, 20. So if I get number 20, which is this one, Midnight Black. Midnight Black isn't actually black, but what it is good at doing is, if you wanted to, because they are water soluble, they have the water mark, you know, the sort of paintbrush mark on them, which means they're soluble in water. They're very good to wet or not. You can just leave them like this. Let's get some graphy tint on. Trying all sorts of things here today. Some of these will darken up, but not too much. Anyway, right, I think I'm going to call this a day, because I've been on here a long time, chatting away to Alitza. And there are other people here as well, so thank you for joining. This was never, it was never sort of going to be, I didn't mean to actually do this. I wasn't going to spend this long on there, but let me show you all the paper, just so you can, just so I can apologise for the state of this. It's not one of my best works, but I will stick at it a little bit longer. It needs to dry a little bit more. But this paper is it's just a Faber-Castell sketch pad. It's okay for watercolour pencils as long as you don't put too much water on. It's more, it did come with some colouring pages in, which I think I've got somewhere. So it was sort of, it had some of these in it. So, you know, yes, it was more for doing a little bit of colouring. You know, this is quite therapeutic, isn't it? People colour. It will sort of take a tiny amount of water. So that's what this pad is. It's not really designed for what I'm. It's not really designed for this. I've wet this too much, and it hasn't. The water hasn't moved very well in it. And at the top, it's, if I put too much on this, it's about to give up and start shedding, I think. But yeah, the main purpose was thank you, Alitza, for the chat. Thank you for helping me out at the beginning. Yeah, the graphy tint are they are quite interesting. They are quite expensive, and I don't use them as much as I would like because the colours are quite muted. But as I am wanting to move more into larger pieces, so that's what I want to try and do this year, move a little bit larger and a little bit more mixed media. So what I am going to end up doing is doing a little bit more. Let me just show you this in a larger sketchbook. So this is more of a this is more of a proper Oops, turn it the right way. Proper sketchbook. It's by Fabriano. It's Fabriano Nostalgia, yeah. So it's an A4 size. Let me just, there we go. So I do want to try and make these bigger. This is on, you can find this video how I christened this sketchbook. I think I called it First Page Nerves. So if you look on my page and look for First Page Nerves, this was quite funny because I changed this just before I started. It was never supposed to be this picture, and what I've learned is it's perhaps good to plan. As I found with this, I didn't really plan with this. I've just sort of started a stream and gone completely off tangent, but this one I did very similar, just to break those nerves. People get nervous about starting sketchbooks or blank pages, and so you know, you can't really be too precious about them. My current, where is my current sketchbook? I actually can't find it. Oh, here it is. So this is the one I'm using. It's an A5, and I found if you get a bit nervous about the first page, then just slap some colour on. I think this was the Graphy Tints I was trying, and just put the name of your website or your Substack or your name and address. If return, make it into a label. Good way of breaking the first page nerves, and then you're good to go. All these are in my gallery. So again, if you look on my gallery page, you'll see a lot of these pieces of work in here. Yeah, so this is sort of my go-to one at the moment. Oh, there's that one again. I did a little bit smaller. And this was that was the beach I sat on taking this scene. I looked across and took that picture. So I'll put this image in my chat. I have a chat thread where I have lots of prompts. I'm quite happy for people to use these pictures and prompts. I'll start another thread with this picture as well, and then if anyone wants to have a go at doing this, focusing in on a certain piece of it, or you know, doing the dog or doing this sort of section, yeah, pop it in the chat, show us what you're up to. But that beach, I looked over and took that picture, and then I've also put this one as a prompt in the chat. There's a bigger picture of this, so I don't mind people using the photo to, you know, to draw from as a reference. I tend to, if I use Unsplash, I will reference them. I'll put a reference on if I use them. I just think it's good practice to recognise artists, be it photographers or anything you're sort of imitating. But I don't mind, use the pictures, they're in my prompt chat. And by all means, join in the chat, show us what you're doing, ask me some questions. This was yesterday's plein air, so I did most of that on the key side, and then I finished off, got some contrast on, and put some of the rigging lines in. Yeah, the paper's a little bit better than this. This is it's a very similar weight to this, but it tends to take water a little bit better. But I always buy these sketchbooks with the intention of not actually using that much water, and then I go and use a lot of water. So yeah, you need to watch out for that if you are heavy with the water. But I do want to move, like I say, more into mixed media and a larger format. And what I might end up doing is getting some acrylic on these to really liven up these pages and pile some acrylic on. Who knows? All part of the fun. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining in. Nice to see people. 10 viewers there. Sorry Ursula, you probably just caught the end. I'm just about to wrap up a little bit, but this I'll just spend a bit longer, and then I'll put this will appear in my notes. I don't mind sharing stuff that isn't particularly good either, but I share it, and then I sometimes write about it in my newsletters. So yeah, please subscribe. Anyone that isn't subscribed, please subscribe. Really appreciate it. I'm trying to get my numbers up. I've been here just over a year now. I do intend to carry on. So yeah, please subscribe, please share. If you can, click on the link over here. There's a tip jar somewhere, if it works. I don't know if it works. Thanks, you too. Have a good day. Yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and see you again soon. How do I end this? Okay, I'm still live, so I know I've got to go to my OBS software.